Just a quick video showing this particular tweet here and sort of the reason behind it. John Cena is the part of the meme there. What it says is, boomers needed 306 hours of minimum wage work to pay for college. Millennials needed 4,459. Gen Z needs 6,200. The game is rigged. Well, yeah. And I just got through getting in an argument with this claimed libertarian. It's a Thomas Massey follower. And he ended up blocking me. And what's going on here is what I sort of reiterated. Not everybody can be allowed to do this. Think about it. The whole tale is that anyone can make it. But again, like I said multiple times, what if they do? You can't allow that to happen. If that's your system, you're in control of it. You cannot allow that to happen. Who's going to work at Hardee's? Seriously, who's going to work at... Like I just called in today. I'm going to have to go to a dentist without insurance because of my teeth. And the tooth that I need worked on has been worked on at least twice. Paid a lot of money for that. Might have missed work for it. I know it's not the first time I missed work because of teeth. But that's a factory. Do you think if I bought a ticket today and won the lottery that I'd be back? No. Or that something else caught on that I could make money with. That's the point. People, the system needs people to be broke. And I don't know why that guy was wanting to deny it. Without broke people, who works the jobs? The petty jobs. Nobody does. You might say teenagers. Okay. Well, that's when you're in school and you can be focusing on that work. And then after school, you go to college if there's something you want to do involved with college or some technical thing, or you sort of launch into a career. If your parents made it well enough, you're not going to be working fast food or factories either. Why would you? I wouldn't. Nobody does this for fun. Life is short. People treat you like you're being lazy. Life is short. It's not about, oh, I don't want to work. It's about, I can't get that day back. And you can't either. It's throwing your life away. And this libertarian guy, I don't know if I can find it quick enough to keep this a short video. This is hilarious. He did a typical little trick, which is wait a little bit, like he wasn't going to respond at all, and then respond and immediately block. Essentially, what I said, somebody was talking about how many people died under communism, allegedly. And this guy that I'm following, I think he considers himself to be a communist. I don't know the differences in the technical little. There's different communism, socialism, Marxism, all this. I'm not educated enough into that to know the difference. I know what I believe, and that's it. And people call it whatever they want. Usually something disparaging. But anyway, he put that in up there about how much capitalism kills. And again, that I can verify because capitalism must kill. It must. That's built into the design of it. That's the leverage of capitalism. It has to kill. It has to deprive and torture and starve. That's just the way it is. That's what it is. It's like denying killing has something to do with murder. It's part of it. I responded, starvation and deprivation is built into capitalism. It must have suffering to survive. In fact, it needs conquest and mass murder to survive. This country, where you have all these people saying no handouts, nothing for free, expect nothing for, you can't expect something from nothing. The world owes you something. All the stuff they say about people they don't think is as good of a capitalist as they are, as good of an American as they are. The country was stolen. It was stolen. They came over and literally took something that wasn't theirs. And some of these people are descended from these people. The reason why they have land is because their ancestors took it. May have killed the people that originally owned it. May have used slaves to build what developed afterwards. Quite likely in many cases. Slavery, that's work for nothing. And these people all the time, as you'll find here, his response to this was, I can't tell if that's sarcasm or if you're actually detached enough from reality and propagandized enough to actually believe it. Well, propaganda's got nothing to do with it. Propaganda is all capitalist. That's the truth. Turn on your TV. You think any of these new car things have got anything to do with communism? Are you out of your mind? It's capitalism. It puts it all out of order, but here's one response from me. A human being is born. They weren't born to wealthy parents. How do they acquire basic necessities to live? They're forced into servitude. How many people work at McDonald's just for the joy of working there? Or do they work there because they absolutely have to? That's right. Yet again, this may be the third or fourth time I say this. Most of the businesses going on, most of these people that are super wealthy, presidents, CEOs of these companies, the reason why they're wealthy is because of poverty. Why? Because nobody would work for their company unless they were broke. That's it. That is absolutely it. And if you're not getting rich working there, you work there because you are broke and you need every penny you can get. That's it. And that's why that person is wealthy. They're a corporation. They're the CEO of a corporation that the only reason it exists is because people are broke. His response. People work because the things we need and want require labor, either our own or someone else's. If you want the benefit of someone else's labor, you have to compensate them because other people are not your slaves. See, he completely changed the conversation. These people seem to have this notion that if there was not some sort of capitalist system, that every single human being would just fall out on the grass and just be staring up into the sky and not feed themselves and not do any work, just be big, useless blobs. This is a myth. That's a lie. It has always been a lie. It will always be a lie. And history backs me up on that. It's what wealthy people think, honestly. It's what a wealthy person would do. Like the super wealthy right now, that's exactly what they would do. I mean, some of them do some little things just for fun, but they don't really work. How many of them mow their own lawn? How many of them clean their own house? And that's the basic things that any person's got to do. That's the things that a man in a relationship will do and think he deserves a trophy. It's the things women do all the time. When a guy does it, sweeps the floor, does the laundry, he thinks he needs a trophy. But anyway, I didn't say any of that. You got it backwards, is my response. You got it backwards, and I noticed you completely ignored half of what I said. The country exists because of thievery, mass murder, and slavery. That's just history. That's a fact. Most people in this country are not allowed to work for themselves. That's true also. And it's another corporation, another business that wouldn't really exist without starvation. And that's child care. Because they used to have something called, you never hear it anymore, babysitters. And I know maybe they just changed the terminology, but it used to be because somebody could be there. And now it's like they took advantage of women's rights. It's like, oh, you want to work? You want to be able to have the same opportunities as a man? Well, you're going to have them, and you're going to have them. And then it's like they forced everybody to work. So now you got parents, both of them have to work. And there you have to outsource your own child rearing. You know, you might even have to outsource cleaning your house. You might have to outsource mowing your lawn because you can't be there because you got to work all the time. I turned down one job a little while back where I was first interested in it because it's one of these arrangements where you work 12 hours a day for less days a week. So you get your time in and the rest of the time is off. So you work like 15 days a month. Sounds great, right? Unless they're doing overtime. And this woman was fairly honest. She said, I can legally work you as many as 10 days in a row before giving you a day off. So you can bet that's what they're going to do. 10 12s in a row. 1 day off, 10 more 12s. Indefinitely. And you don't sign under that, you don't get the job. Which means it's that or you're broke. Had some other place not called me, I probably would have had to go back there. What kind of life is that? How's that legal? Certainly not moral. You think that's moral, your morals are screwed up. So again, you know, I said a little hard to take care of your own home and create your own resources when you either have to sign your life over to a factory or you can't have basic needs. A human being isn't allowed a spot of land on the planet they're born on, or water, or food. You have to explain to me how that makes someone else a slave, but working that person to death to not even afford a mildly enjoyable life isn't slavery. You can't even afford a doctor or a dentist, Mr. Christian. You pay a fee to drive or live on land if you do own it, which is true. It's funny how these libertarian people are fine with mandatory auto insurance. Isn't that strange? I had some relatives years ago, back when this first got, I probably mentioned this before too, back when this auto insurance became mandatory, and I don't know if it was the state or the country, but I thought it was atrocious. And it is. It still is. It's terrible. It doesn't make any sense. If you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you realize it doesn't make any sense. And it's just a fee to drive for the rest of your life. And I was talking to them about that, and they were all for it. Right-wingers, of course. They were all for it. But when the Obamacare thing came up, they didn't like that. You think about it. In some cases, health insurance costs about the same as auto insurance per month. In some cases. We're mandated to have auto insurance, but there's no provisions for health insurance. I don't know what this guy, I think he must be a heavy drinker or something. He puts in quotation marks, you'll have to explain it to me, and says something I didn't say. I don't even know what he's referring to, and I can't ask him because he blocked me. At no point have you offered a meaningful response to anything I've said. You pretend I'm responsible for things you fabricate or ask questions based on ridiculous premises that you seem to expect to be fully accepted. And that's when he blocked me. There was another response here somewhere. I put where he blocked me. There was some other attempt, and of course, he whizzed it down his legs. One example I gave here. Poor person wants 1 acre of land with a dilapidated house on it. Person born rich who owns that and 99 other acres. You're making me a slave. Go slave in a factory doing 12-hour shifts nonstop forever and pay me money I don't need, or you're making me a slave. That's basically what they're saying. Another one I put is, let's put it this way, John. Basically, your stance is, because I knew I'd read on his profile he wasn't for what Israel's doing to Palestine, this and that, or at least he wasn't for funding Israel. Again, libertarian. I said, let's put it this way. If Israel were to take over all of Palestine, people would need to go into servitude to pay for a spot to live and the resources on that land, or they'd be stealing and making people slaves, because that's essentially what's happened here. It's the same thing. And he does some little straw man thing because he can't answer. And that's a bad thing. I follow a lot of libertarian groups because I do have a lot of respect for them in many categories. But if you start asking them questions, they go silent. They won't answer. And that's crazy. I could be a potential voter or supporter, couldn't I? But if you ask them questions, they go silent. You won't hear from them. You won't. And I was starting to ask them harmless questions and see if I get a response from that. And when I do, then I'll hit them with one of the bigger ones. Because I'm not trying to be like a gotcha here. I genuinely want to know. And you don't get any answer from them. Bottom line is, this is a situation. Because they can't do what they used to do. You know, they've taken over. The elite, so to speak, have taken over the whole country. Somebody owns something. There's no land not owned. Not that's useful anyway. And there's no land not owned. And you can't get it. That's what's funny. I mean, you can prove you could rent for 10 years. Paying more than what a mortgage payment would be. And it still doesn't help you get a house. And even then, let's say you pass the ability to be able to get a house. They're going to let you have one. Well, if you don't have a down payment, the house payments are going to be worse than what they could be, which has always been the case for me. But aside from that, most affordable houses won't pass their inspections. That's another thing. Their little inspections. So many of them won't. Yet here's the funny thing. If you're a well-off person, at least down south, I don't know if there might be stipulations somewhere else, the wealthy person can buy another house either outright or get a conventional loan, which doesn't require the 20%. So if they're well off, they can get it. And then rent it back to the person who was trying to buy it for more than what they would have paid in rent. You tell me this ain't a rigged game? It is. And it's to keep people from having what they need, because as long as they don't have what they need, they're slaves. Imagine the little drawing of the man on horseback. And he's got a little fishing pole, and dangling from the end of it is a carrot. And he's got it held down in front of the horse's face. And the horse is carrying them forward because it's after the carrot, which it's never getting any closer to. It is a rigged game. And if you're a libertarian, maybe you need to wake up. I know the word woke scares you also, but maybe it's time for you to wake up.